Hello, my name is Conor Kilpatrick. This is my co-host Josh Flanagan.
I'm not happy to be here. I was gonna be like myself, but no, I'm excited to do this. This is a good time. Maybe we'll be rusty, maybe it'll be amazing. I know I'm sleepy, but I'm gonna try not to. I told you, but if I didn't, you might not know.
It's our first show back after what, like a month? Our month holiday break
It
was like 3
felt
weeks.
like, well, it's one of those. It felt like a long time, but not really.
So we're back. It's iFanboy 2126. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing it anymore.
Fucking.
It is the 21st year of our show, though, and that's the show where we talk about the week that was in comic books. One of us picks the book that like the best from their stack of comics. Call that book the pick of the week. We talk about that book, the other books from the week, the Patron Pick listener mail. We have a good time. Listen, it's the same show, but there's a reason for it. We like the format, and so do the listeners and the viewers, which they now are also viewers. Here's your spoiler warning. There's caution to be had in the land of spoilers, and you should exercise it. Josh, with the first pick in the 21st year draft is you.
I select Cooper Flag. It already happened. Boy, can I tell you,
light week. Not a ton of books.
Yeah.
But a good week, I thought.
Okay, so the pick of the week is Amazing Spider-Man number 983 or 19. And listen, it was a light week. And when I looked through the books after I read them, I was like, it's this story. I still really like this story. And I really like the execution of this story. And it is still Marvel. I'm not excited about a lot of Marvel right now. And so to take this book by a veteran like Joe Kelly and then have Pepe Larraz just destroying the art, like in the best, I mean that in a good way, like just killing it, and it looks great, and it's so different than, it's hard to take a character out of what we all know them and put them in a completely different thing and have it feel correct and work really well. And I don't know if that's just me craving a difference or whatever, but this space adventure is great, and then underpinning it is this thing that he just got destroyed in the bad way by this Hellgate, which, by the way, every time I say Hellgate, I'm just like, that's just the bridge by my old apartment. And also,
like they could have had a better name than that. Like Hellgate feels like a placeholder name they just went with. Like,
yeah, I mean, like it would be maybe, like for anybody else it probably sounds great, but for me that's right next to where the dogs play,
right?
or it's also
delightful.
It's also where Leonardo DiCaprio came from at the beginning of Gangs of New York, which, by the way, is a 23-year-old movie, 23-year-old movie. I remember that. I remember looking
forward to it. That's not a fun game to play at all.
I remember seeing it twice. Anyway, and there's they're doing this every other issue thing, and I enjoy these parts of the issue, this half of it so much more. That said, the one that came out over the weekend, or I'm sorry, over the break, so whatever the issue was, 18, was really good. But either way, in comparison to this was still great. And it's space opera, it's adventure. He's got this cool girlfriend. They're this gang of misfits who are kind of stupid in a lovable way. And then if I'm talking about this issue specifically, at the end of it is the sort of the meeting where the two characters come back together after he'd been beaten severely and went through all this change, and they're starting to fight and he can't make it, and then they throw in a twist is that his friends save him, and it's just fun. It's perfect is what it is. This has been a perfect Spider-Man story by being outside of that Spider-Man mold. I think it's great. I compared to everything else I read some great books. I didn't really read any clunkers this week or anything.
No, it's a good week.
But if you're talking about scratching your itch for fun big superhero comics, especially in Marvel, right now, which like everything that I like at Marvel is kind of like, yeah, but like you got to sort of work for it.
This was great.
Yeah,
this was a great issue, and when you told me what the pick was, I was not at all surprised. This was one of those issues where every little thing worked. So like you had a big fight with Spider-Man and Hellgate. You had great character stuff. You had funny character stuff. Like there was the whole bit with the
Rocket tries to use a metaphor.
Rocket's not good at that. But the mad scientist doctor was really funny, but then had a great scene with Peter where he basically gives him steroids. He's like, I made this concoction for you. It's tied to your genetics. If you take it, you'll get super strong. You'll be able to beat Hellgate. And that's the whole dilemma Peter has during the whole fight, is whether or not to take this this concoction. But that whole scene was great too. And you talked about this group of characters, this misfit characters, are all different and interesting and fun. And one of them is the suit that's alive
and new.
And
these are not legacy kids. They didn't dig out stuff from the bin. He's just created a bunch of new characters. Now the one is he's what are they called? This unit or whatever. Not Deathlock. He's on the New Mutants. Yeah, like he's kind of like there's an X-Men
he looks
character.
like that, but that was the suit come to life, the one he was wearing. Remember, they figured out it was
Technarch,
sentient.
but he is the same. It's the same.
I think it's the same race.
Yeah, same thing, but it's a different individual
suit.
one.
And
the
right, girl Ray is awesome. I don't dismiss her as the girl, but she's awesome. I love the relationship with Peter, where it's like they're not in love, but they're on the ship. And so you might as well cuddle in the hammock, like why?
Right, but she also says, she says, I'm not in love with you, but I love you. And that is backed up by that other scene with, I don't know anyone's name, the big bad guy who's now kind of in the middle, who gives him the stuff. And he's like, trust me, this is going to work. It's going to work great. You're going to get what you need out of it. I am tingling to see what happens in a science, but I don't know what this is going to do to you. And he's like, and I kind of respect you. And they sold it. I mean,
it was a great issue, and the art is wonderful. Pepe Larraz's character designs, the action he brings, the energy. It's a big sci-fi story. And I actually thought about this after you when we were producing the show, you told me what the pick is, and then we go from there. And I was running errands, and I was like, I don't think I've ever read a Spider-Man story like this. There's been a lot of Spider-Man stories since 1963, and maybe there's been one. I mean, he's certainly been to space. We've read those stories, but I've never read one like this where he is completely out of his element. He's not wisecracking Peter Parker in his red and blue suit or his black suit. He's got his team. He's almost with the Guardians of the Galaxy at this point.
They are, and also
he's having adventures. And I've never read that before from Spider-Man, and it's awesome.
But he's also not at all playing the I'm not even supposed to be here card.
Right.
Like, he's owning it. And because of that, like, all the people respect him. The girl respects him. Rocket has stopped cracking on him. The evil scientist respects him, because it's focusing on like his natural qualities or what is good about Peter Parker. And it's not a made up thing. It's not like you found this power in you. It's the underlying theme of his character forever. And they're really leaning on that, in that he has to do the right thing all the time. He can't not do the right thing. And in this world, in this fantasy world, people very much respect that quality.
And he keeps getting his ass beat.
Yep.
Like you would expect in the rematch, that's when he digs deep and beats Hellgate, or he uses the drugs and beats Hellgate, but he doesn't. He loses again. So this is Act 1, he loses. Act 2, he loses. He will somehow win in Act 3, whether or not Hellgate will accidentally kill Ben Reilly instead of Peter, which, hey, maybe that'll happen. But we don't know. But he hasn't won the day. He still kind of runs into a field of rakes and keeps stepping on them. And I just love this. The art is so good.
There's some dope ass Spider-Man poses, just like classic, like legs akimbo, and you're at the camera. And then there's amazing spaceship shots. Star Wars, like, looking things and really good. And then that last page where they've rescued him, and the girl Ray, she's bigger than him and stronger than him, and she's cradling him basically because his body is all kind of limp. And that's not a usual thing for the male hero of a book to be in. It's just changing things around. And so all these little familiar but unexpected things, and it's working real good.
The shot where she grabs him, where they fly by and she's hanging out the ship with the hand out, looks a lot like Lando grabbing Luke in Empire.
Yeah. It's even got that aperture hole, like actually,
there's just a lot of sci-fi goodness in here, and it's very much you put on a shelf next to that Batman Off-World story that Jason Aaron did, Doug Monkey, about Batman being in space,
which was great.
That was a bit more like, here's Batman in space, and this is more like This is more like here's Peter Parker in
Yes,
space, which
100%.
which is a distinct difference between Spider-Man.
And I'm going to touch on. I'm going to be touching on that Batman Bruce Wayne thing in a bit, just
okay.
as a teaser.
I think you mentioned the last time we talked about it, where it looked like they were going home, which they still are heading towards back to home, and we were like, we don't want. You said I don't want this to end, and I don't want this to end.
No.
Like, I love Peter. I love him back at Earth. I don't like Ben Reilly. That other story I find, other than the last issue, which was good, I don't find that story that compelling.
That issue was good, largely, though, just because of the dialogue between characters, which should not work on a comic book page. But it was just that conversation between Norman and J. Jonah.
Right. It's like when I turn the page and it's like next month or next whatever, and it's Norman punching a goblin.
And you know, we love and respect John Romita very much. That is not that is not the art that's going on in this book I just read.
No, his covers aren't great. His covers have never been great lately. But this issue, and look at the cover. I mean, him sort of coming out of the Hellgate's mask, and the mask is gigantic. Like I've never seen a cover like that either. Like, this is just a wonderful book.
It is,
at least for this particular arc right now. But also wonderful art was Hellboy and the B.P.R.D, the Ghost Ships of Labrador, number 2 of 2. Mike Mignola and Rob Williams did the art, and Lawrence Campbell. Holy shit!
Yeah.
What's funny about this issue was I started reading it, and I was 3 pages in, and I went, "Oh, I don't remember the first issue. Like, I kind of did, but I didn't remember the details." But this issue was so well done that you didn't need to remember. I mean, it starts coming to you as you go, but like, it gave you all the information that I was like, this is great. I was enjoying the hell out of it, and I was fine. I loved it.
First page, I went, oh god, I don't remember. And then I saw the shot of the ship, and I was like, oh, I saw the teeth on it. I went, giant whale ship ate him at the end of the last one. Right. They went there to see about the ghost ship. That's all that really mattered in it. And I also remembered, like, you and I both really liked it a lot. So I was like, I'll get this. And can we give it up to the one guy, I guess, in comics who's like, no, I'm going to do a 2-part issue story, and I was like, oh, this is only the second one. And then you finish, you're like, yeah, that was how long it needed to be for this story. If you'd made this 5 issues, you would have been like, get on with it. But Mike Mignola, has carte blanche to do the comics how he wants to. And so all these things are true. It's a beautiful book. I think, Rob Williams is a fantastic writer. A lot of times the folks that sort of co-write these are unknown quantities for me. So sort of getting, I mean, I think Mike Mignola tends to subsume, like, the voice always ends up being like Mike Mignola, which isn't a bad thing. It's probably what's supposed to happen. But, so there is a bit, Hellboy wakes up on the ship of the dead, and they're like, you're here forever now. And the lady in the wheelchair and Abe can't find him. They don't know what happened. And okay, I'll try to spoil it. I'm going to spoil it. Deal with it. So the solution is they find, hey, there's a harpoon on the wall over there from that ship, which is a 1500s Portuguese whaler or something like that. And she takes the thing and she goes, just leave me alone for a second. And she starts projecting her I don't know what happens, but her pupils go away. So that's how you know magic shit's going on. She's in a trance.
She conjures the ghosts.
And then the dog starts barking, and Hellboy on the ship, the idea is that once you're on the ship, your mind sort of goes away because you're just part of the ship, and Hellboy's getting confused. And then as she's doing that, he starts hearing the barking. The barking brings him back to consciousness, and he breaks out of his chains, which causes the whole ship to break and sink, and then they find him in the water. And that's it. Now, as I was reading that, I went, wait, what happened? And I went back and I read through it again, and what my question was, now that I understand that it's a good resolution, but I was wondering, did you understand what happened during that part? Why he was awakened?
Because of the dog noise?
Yeah, and what she was doing. It was very quick.
I mean, it seemed like she connected to the ghost or the ship through the ghosts and she touches the harpoon. Her name is Agatha, and her eyes go white, and then these ghosts appear, and they put their hands on the harpoon, and it seems like it connects them to the ship, because when the dog barks, Hellboy can hear it. That's what
So,
I
and
think.
it connects the ship back to the real world, which
Yes.
brings his memory back, and then he
Right.
breaks the thing, and everybody gets away. You know, it was elegant, but it was subtle, I think.
And it ends on a solid joke where she's like, "What? How'd you find Hellboy?" And,
Yeah,
and
you're
Abe's
right,
like,
you're
"I
right.
found him swimming in circles." And then they leave him sitting on the dock to look at. He goes, "Yeah, I swim in circles. One of my arms is bigger than the other one." Like it was just a solid joke. And then I thought about him swimming in circles because he is much stronger with one arm. And it was just
very funny.
And Lawrence Campbell had this like JP Leon jump quality to it, and like this I associate, and I know I haven't read as much Hellboy as you have, and I know that there's been a lot of different kinds of Hellboy artists, but I associate more of like a cartoony style, I mean Mignola style. Who was the guy that did a lot of the B.P.R.D books? That was awesome. Guy Davis style. This is more like a realistic, shadowy Jean Paul Leon style.
It's a Gabe Hardman style.
Yeah, it's really good.
This is what Gabe Hardman's Hellboy book would look like. Gabriel. He doesn't want to be called Gabe. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a great. But this is it right here. This is what's great about Hellboy, which is also great about Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah,
is that you dip in and you live in that world, and it has its own tone and it has its own feel, and you're out quicker than you kind of want to be, but in the good way.
Yep.
You know, that you go and you do the issues. I've never read a Hellboy book where I'm like, get on with it. Like you got to grab on. It's kind of over quickly, but because it's economical. And I think that what we're talking about is the solution, the getting out. It was economical. It wasn't a huge fight scene, which it could be, but
there are two more things. One is that the very first scene in this book is the dog barking, which we don't realize.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
And the second one is when Hellboy finds the ghost ship, he gets on it and he's like, "Hey, who's in charge?" And he just sees the boat's driving itself, and he goes, "That's creepy," and he jumps off the boat. Like that's my favorite thing about Hellboy is his attitude is like, "Nah, I'm not doing this," and he just goes,
"Same shit, different day.
I ain't no Navy boy." He just jumps off the boat. That's my favorite. This is wonderful, and it's so hard to do a short story. People don't realize that it's a skill to be able to tell a complete story in a small package. Not anyone, but people. It's easier when you can just keep writing and writing for days. But we all know Mignola's written the best. Was it 2-page story? You've got it on the wall behind you.
Yeah, Pancakes.
And he's just really, really good at giving you a satisfying piece in a short package, and that's just wonderful.
He like Hellboy doesn't feel the need to prove himself in a way. Like
doesn't have to.
There's a confidence in the work, and I'm not there to screw around. I'm not there to impress you, and I'm confident in what I'm doing. Here it is, and it shows in the work. Actually, that is exactly what Hellboy is. That's interesting. Sorry.
Well, there you go. We're gonna take a quick break, but when we come back, we're gonna talk about Batman. Okay, we have the latest issue of Batman from Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez. This is apparently selling like gangbusters, which is great. I love this issue. This was that Bruce and that doctor lady. What's her name? I don't remember her name.
Catherine Hahn.
on a date where Bruce has to keep them both alive, but be Bruce the whole time. And I thought it was wonderful.
So here is my revelation about this book as I was reading it and finished it. What I thought was, I like when he is Bruce Wayne and is a person and not the guy who's pretending. Like this is the whole thing about de-amping the grimness, is that it allows for Bruce Wayne to also be interesting. And like, this was a fun Bruce Wayne story.
Yes.
And it didn't feel like he's the mask, because that's always the thing. Like, well, Bruce Wayne is just the mask and Batman is who he really is. And I don't like that. It makes it not fun. Having Bruce Wayne, like, you can't have this guy who can flirt with people and be dashing and rich and good looking and also have this, like, his car collection has like been a thing. He's always in like amazing cars, and instead of being in a hypercar in this one, he's in a perfectly restored and beautiful GTO. And what we get basically is a giant car chase through Gotham in a muscle car, on an awkward date.
Yep.
There's very little Batman in this.
There's no Batman in this.
Right. Well, I mean, he does some Batman shit.
He does Batman shit, but he's in
right.
the guise of Bruce. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's still like I wasn't thinking, I was like, whoa, there's no Batman. I'm sure some reader out there does that.
Right.
And it was fun flirting, and I still don't know if they're supposed to be on a date or like which one of them do they want to be? Is it
well, they go back and forth in that flirty way of this isn't
Yeah.
a date. Well, it is a date. And he's like, well, you dressed up. He's like, well, I'm always dressed up. And she's like, well, you dressed up. I'm like, well, it's a date.
And then at the very end, killer cliffhanger.
Who ruins it? Who
Nope.
ruins it?
Damian
ruins it.
Just accept that he's there, accept for what it is.
It's a good
have
cliffhanger.
fun with the story.
It's a good cliffhanger. It's a good cliffhanger.
And that story, that cliffhanger, that what happens where Robin is caught calling Bruce father. That doesn't work with any of the Robins.
Right.
So
you're right.
and it's not as good as if he it's better than if he just said Bruce or Batman. Like I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know what he would have said, but that's a whole lot of weight that gets added to that scene all of a sudden. It's because like that's Robin, you have something to do with Batman, and B, you have a kid, and just all of it.
I mean, just tell her it's Gen Z slang. What I like about this is they've gone with the sexy fun Bruce. It's not the It's not like occasionally they'll do like the bumbling Bruce who sort of has to mask his abilities with like, oh, I knocked over this guy by accident. This is like, I'm hot, I'm rich, I'm fit, I'm kind of really cool, and I'm gonna do like I know how to fight and how to drive, and she's cool with it, and he's being charming and funny and
and
power driving and
I want to believe he's actually enjoying it. Like he's found some happiness in doing that, and I think that's more interesting. And maybe that's just because I'm an old man now, and like you realize that there's more to life than just being a grim arbiter of justice, I guess. But you want to see two sides. I don't want him to be miserable. That's not fun.
No.
And I think that what we've had here, and we've talked about this, is just a softer Bruce Wayne, a letting a little more of that light in, and being proud of his family and enjoying. And there's been a lot more of that, and that was after 89, so 30 years of or 86, 30 years of dark.
Well, I mean, they would go back and forth. Chuck Dixon's run was a lot about family, and he was very much like proud of his kids. And there were certainly runs. Tom Taylor's run did all stuff, but they would go. There were two poles. There in all of us, there are two Batman.
Sure,
and one is the grim and gritty arbiter of justice who has no emotion. The other one has a family that he's proud of and loves, and they kind of bounce between the two. I'm happy to keep him in the middle and have aspects of both of his personalities, but they kind of gotta go from one pole to the other. This feels a lot like the Chip Zdarsky book that we really liked, The Knight, where he was the origin book, because that was all Bruce Wayne too.
Yeah.
Well, this is also an antidote to what we talked about. We've talked about a lot throughout the years, is that they just tend to not do anything with the secret identities anymore. They tend to just not deal with that, other than select characters, usually like Superman.
Other than constantly outing Daredevil,
right?
They don't.
They just don't tend to show the lives. It's because they don't tell the soap operas anymore. Peter Parker's an exception. Clark Kent's an exception. Matt Murdock's an exception. But for the most part, like, we don't spend any time with Hal Jordan. We don't spend any time with Barry Allen or Clint Barton. It's just like they're always in costume. And so it's nice to spend time with them and show that there's like a whole other world out there that's not just fighting.
And again, a lot of this has to come down to the fact that like Matt Fraction is riding that line perfectly. I'm sure the next person who comes along and tries to do fun Bruce Wayne might not work that well. But this combination, of Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez, just
and it doesn't work without Jorge Jimenez's art. It's
this issue. 3 books, just killer art so far that we've talked about. Like every one of them.
I mean, this book's all about. If you look at the cover, if you're watching online, like with them running not towards the camera, but to the side, this is a book that moves forward. Like they are on the run the entire time. They're being chased the entire time. They're on a car. They're on a roof. This is a book. Jorge Jimenez's art is full of kinetic energy. It's stylish. It's sexy. We've solved the bad Bruce Wayne clothing problem from the last issue where he was wearing the sneakers and the. Remember we were talking his up was all wrong, but it just moves, and there's a life to Jorge Jimenez's art that's just perfect for this book, and I'm glad it's really selling well.
Yeah.
Apparently, from what the Hollywood Reporter told us, it's selling more with every issue, which is unusual in comics.
Yeah, it is.
So I think Absolute Superman 15 should have been the first issue. I mean, it wouldn't have worked perfectly, but we had a 14-issue storyline where we liked it a lot. It was a co-book of the year by the numbers. They had like 3 picks of the week, but it did go a little long with that storyline fighting against Ra's al Ghul's group,
Lazarus,
right?
And Lazarus Corp.
We kept saying, okay, but we don't really know this character at all. We don't know anything about Superman. We're not in his head at all. We don't really have any connection to him. And so this issue, I feel like I've got not a lot, but I've got much more idea of who this guy is than I had in the 14 issues previous. What did you think of this issue? Also, we got Juan Ferreira on art, by the way.
Yeah, no, I liked it. But it's still, I don't know. Like, I get what the story is, but he's not Superman, like, in that, like, he's super conflicted. I know this is the point of it, but I still feel like I don't know where this guy's coming from.
Yeah.
I feel like he could still break either way, and you want to tell a different kind of Superman story with this. You do not want to do the same Clark Kent we've seen a million times, but I don't know that I necessarily like the character all that much. I would like to see a little more, I think, of his nascent Superman-ness show through, like is happening in Wonder Woman. Like, she cannot contain her goodness.
Well, I thought I agree with you, and I think there was a bit of that in that scene where he keeps showing up at the jail where Ra's is and reading him poetry.
Right. Yes.
Until he breaks, and he doesn't, and by showing him humanity, basically like unbridled humanity, and I like that bit a lot. I like the setup of the love triangle between Lois, Lana, and Clark, where he lives in Smallville. He's got Lana at home, who's all about him, but Lois is all about him, and he ran away from both of them because he's a weirdo. It was a little strange that one of the big cliffhangers of the end of the 14 issues was he got Ma Kent's suit that she made for him, but he's still wearing the alien suit, and the other suit's sitting in a box. But like that was like the big moment in the last issue. You figured he would have changed suits, which seems to be the movie suit. Even a great artist like Juan Ferreira can't draw long hair. I'm looking at. I mean, like, it's like it's totally different every time, and this is just weird.
I hate the haircut on him.
He's supposed to have chin length hair, and they just don't know what to do with that.
It's like in the 90s when they try to make everybody edgy by giving him longer hair, and I was like, it just doesn't. I don't know. That's the part. Like, it makes none of these choices are wrong. Like, it absolutely makes sense that this character would have that, but like it's not giving me Superman, I guess, in the way that I expect or want, and could be totally on me. However, this has led me to yet another overarching revelation. Superman thought. He's too powerful. Specifically and they've done this a lot, and I believe that, I don't know if it's Kurt Busiek's fault in the first issue of Astro City, but the idea that they keep revisiting this is that he can hear everything all the time on Earth, and it drives him crazy. And to me, that's too much. And this comes about because somebody's trying to tell a story, and they go, well, what if he can hear like something 5,000 miles away?
Right.
And then the next guy comes along and says, well, the logical continuation of that is that he can hear everything all the time. And that to me is overpowered. Like, I don't want him to be in agony all the time. I don't like the idea that like that's my secret. I'm always angry. So this guy, this Superman who is the best version of us, who is not us, but who is constantly at war inside his own head as he tries to block all these voices out from driving him crazy. I don't want that.
It's a lot of pathos.
It's too powerful.
I'm excited to see where this goes. I was happy to see the other storyline end. I was not thrilled that Ra's is still amongst us, and so is Talia. But I'm gonna need Brainiac to get a hat. I don't care what hat it is. It could be a fedora. It could be fisherman's cap. It could be a
I
ball
like
cap.
Brainiac. I like Brainiac in this.
Just
That's
half
a
his
fun
head
part.
being gone and his brain being there is weirding me out. And then, I'm excited to see this Hawkman. It looks like he's a Black Hawk, but also a Hawkman show up. And I like the Juan Ferreira art. I think it's colorful. I think it is. The other art was good, but it was kind of dour. It was a very dark style. This is a brighter, more colorful Superman. I just feel like I'm getting more here now than I got previously, and I liked the previous 14 issues.
Well, it's certainly brighter.
Yeah.
Which is nice. You know what I like? I like the idea that we've now seen a couple of Jason Aaron and Juan Ferreira collaborations, and the idea of what that could lead to in the future in other places, and that's pretty good. I want those guys to work together. I didn't even think about
that, but you're right.
Yeah.
In fact, on the very last episode they did the Turtles issue.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so now we've got it. Yeah, that's what I want to see, because those guys, they fit together. It's perfect. like Jason does dark stuff, but that has a little bit of a sense of humor. And like Juan is exactly that. Like, his art's it's just slightly silly looking, and I mean this in the best way. I have a piece of this art up on the wall. It's great. They're perfect for each other, and I want to see more.
Let's take a quick break. We come back. We got more comics.
Why have I minimized my script?
Let's talk about what's this book? Oh, Devil on My Shoulder, number 2, from Kyle Starks. Oh, you missed the conversation about the first one, which happened when you were not here on the I believe the Thanksgiving episode. So Ryan read this and liked it. I was lamenting that Kyle Starks had moved away from humor books, and then the very next week he had a humor book come out.
Yeah.
But this seems to be a very dark Kyle Starks book.
There's some connection between humor and horror that I don't fully understand, but I feel like they are two sides of the same coin in a way, because you can make horror humor real fast. This is not one of those books. Well, it kind of it's almost so dark that it's satirical, I guess.
Well, it's in the vein of like I Spit on Your Grave, right? It's like a rape revenge story. Yeah.
Yes. So what did you?
I didn't read it.
Okay. Good.
Ryan liked it.
Because I know what you were saying is like you didn't want, you were like, why isn't this comedy? But you just
no, not why this one. It's just that and I get why this,
like, on its own merit though.
It's just because like
too dark.
This particular one seemed too dark for me. And I like Peter Kowalski, and I've read his previous horror books with Peter Kowalski, but the rape revenge story.
I get that, and I don't disagree. There is something that Kyle Starks does that I like, and I cannot always put it together, because I've read several of his books that I had not planned to. I was like, I'll check it out, but I ended up reading through all of them. So this is the revenge part of the story,
right?
Where the girl, whose name I don't know other than to say dog shit, because that's what they called her, is going after these absolutely horrible people who did absolutely horrible things to her. And there is a satisfaction to seeing their comeuppance.
Sure.
And the best part of it, though, is that she wakes up in a room somewhere, says 4 years ago, and a man comes in with the priest vestments or whatever. I don't know. He's got the collar and the kind of almost the robes. I don't know enough. I think he's Catholic. And he's like, he starts talking about his past, and he said, like, I found when I took up the cloth or whatever after my time in the cartel. And you're like, okay, that's interesting. And then, like, so he's the one who trains her how to wield a knife because he believes in her revenge. And it's grim and grisly after that. And she takes down 2 of them here, so this isn't going to go on for that long. And so this is another one of those, I enjoyed it despite myself, even though the setup for it is greatly disturbing, and I don't know if there's any reason to do that.
And look, no one can say Kyle Starks doesn't have range, because then like a week later he put that wrestling book out, which I quite enjoyed, which was silly. Like I love the silly books. I love, Rock Candy Mountain and the Assassin's book and the Seven
Assassination, man.
Assassination, the 7 Sons of that Keaton guy. Like, they were all really good. I can imagine that 10 people bought them. And there's a bigger audience for the horror books. And I get it. It just was a bummer that the last couple of books he had done before that wrestling book had been like moving the needle closer to the horror side. It was like that.
I didn't like
that dual serial killer book, which I liked, but you didn't.
that. No, I like that. I read that.
Oh, you did though.
That was good. Yeah, I came
one...
around to it. The like neighborhood of serial.
Oh, that one,
killers,
cul-de-sac.
I didn't. I read the first.
That was
series.
silly. That was silly.
Yeah, but I didn't.
That was
didn't
not
really
quite like Assassination silly, but it was a sillier horror book.
Yeah.
Than these have been. I don't know. I almost read the first issue, but I didn't want to.
Okay.
I didn't want to. Batman, Green Arrow, The Question, Arcadia, Book 2. This is from DC Comics' Black Label, written and drawn by Gabriel Hardman, with art colors by Romulo Fajardo Jr., and at least in the copy we had, no letter listed. Hardman doesn't letter, does he?
No. I mean, I'm sure he could.
The letter was by magic. You were not reading this
soon enough. Listen, this was an omission. This was not an omission of choice. Had I noticed it, then I would have, and I will. I'm gonna.
It was just bad luck on your part. You weren't on the show when the first one came out, so you missed the introduction of the series. It's such a weird book, but I like it. I mean, it's great. It's Hardman doing like his 3 favorite DC characters. It's a Black Label book, so it's totally out of continuity, so he can do them however he wants. We talked about this last time. It almost feels like, and it's not exactly right, but it almost feels like it takes place in the old Mike Grell Green Arrow world. Because this is an older Green Arrow who has lost his fortune. In the first issue, he's like in a bar doing bar tricks to get money for beer. He talks about his girlfriend living in Seattle, working at a flower shop, was what Dinah did in the Mike Grell book. And then no one else is like, feels like the DC version. Like in the first issue, Alfred's like an asshole, and like it's all very strange. Batman's beating up like kids protesting like eco stuff, and it was very strange. But and then this almost, and then there's like elements of the Bronze Age in here where Batman is conducting an investigation, but also kind of working for this tech company as like their head of security. Like it's very strange stuff that would never ever happen in like the regular book, but it works in this out of continuity sense. And it's all coming to a head. So Batman's trying to figure out who this terrorist is. The Question has gone undercover at this forced labor camp, which ends up being part of the tech company. And Green Arrow's just in the middle of everything because the tech company had bought Queen Industries, and so he's all pissed off about it. It's just super fun. There's great action in it. It's weird. I like the.
And this takes place in the San Gabriel town of Arcadia.
I don't know why it's named Arcadia. This is like weird. It's the whole thing is this billionaire is making these floating cities for the rich to live on when the seas rise and flood the world.
I feel like I've read that story a lot.
And so that's
Mark
how
Russell's done that at least 3 times.
Because Bruce goes to like the symposiums, like, this is weird. I just like it. I just like it a lot, and it's weird. And it's wonderful. And we don't get to see Gabriel Hardman doing this much interior. And this is like oversized, right? Let me see. No, it was a little oversized, 33 pages, but
and it's in the Black Label format, so like the more magazine shape.
Well, I mean, digitally it's hard to tell. It seems like it is regular. It seems like it's regular, but I don't know. Someone who buys these things on at the store should tell us. But it's just super awesome. And I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to you catching up on it because I think you really like how strange it is and not doesn't feel like anything else. And it's a really great Green Arrow. You know, this is like the angry older lefty Green Arrow, and Batman is caught in the middle. And you got on one end, you got the Question, you got the Batman in the middle trying to just solve his murder mystery, but he's getting brought into this whole mess with Green Arrow, and it's just really good, really, really good, and I'm enjoying it.
Cool.
I wonder who letters it. Maybe it's Jesus. So let's take
whoever letters the rest of them. It's Rob Lee. I don't know.
Let's take a quick break. Thank everyone. So this is our first show of the year. We appreciate it. We are back because we are listener supported. We are not on a network. We are not famous comedians. Therefore, we don't have a giant.
Which is a fucking crime.
So we rely on you, the listener and the viewer, to support the show. We appreciate all those who do. We had a nice uptick in support last year towards the end of the year, and we hope that more of you will consider this year because it is how we keep going. It's how the bills get paid and how our time becomes, worth it to do the show. So the best way to do that is patreon.com/iFanboy. You can support the show directly. You become part of a great community. There's a Discord community. There's a Facebook group. You get to vote in the Patron Pick. You get a Patron Power live on the show. You get to be a part of the monthly Patron Hangout. And at $10 or higher, you get an ad-free version of all of our shows. And you get this Pick of the Week show a day early on Saturday. Plus, you get access to the iFanboy After Show on Sundays, where we talk about all the other books that don't make the show's rundown. $10 gets you a lot of stuff, and it's great. There's a discount if you sign up for 1 year all at once, and if you can also send and receive gift memberships at ifanboy.com/something gifts. No, that's not even right. It's Patreon. Doesn't matter. Patreon.com/ifanboy is where you go for that. It's our first show back. I don't know what's happening. My mouth not used to making these sounds.
I'd just like to encourage as many people to sign up as possible, as I'd like to have more things made of solid gold.
Right.
If there's any way.
Oh yeah.
I have these. I'm trying to gild all of this.
Yeah, and that's not cheap.
It isn't.
I mean,
but
I really got into diamonds over the break. Like I went to Tiffany's. I just started buying a lot of diamonds, and those things are expensive.
I am so into vintage Rolexes right now.
Right. I mean, don't even talk to me about the old Porsche I have now in the back. So ifanboy.threadless.com is our merch store. We have 23 designs on t-shirts and more. So you can get those. If you need a t-shirt, we're the place to come to. It's great. If you want esoteric comic book designs on t-shirts that people won't understand other than you and some other people that you might run into, that's where you go. ifanboy.com/support is our digital tip jar via PayPal. Again, if you are an eccentric billionaire and you're doing your taxes, as we all are right now, and you think, oh man, I'm going to be giving all this money to the government. I don't want it going to ICE. I want it going to those guys. We are all for it. We agree with you. Let's do it.
And we are not, it should be known, we are not a 501c3 nonprofit organization.
But if you give us enough lead time, we can get the paperwork filled out.
I think that if you have that kind of money, you can get us registered like that retroactively.
You've got lawyers. They can help us out.
If I had a lot of money, I would totally get into vintage watches. That would 100% be a thing.
Oh, that'd be a problem. That'd be a huge problem. I went to a watch store to get my watch fixed, and I was looking at their watches, and I was like, oh, that's a cool watch. And I was like, stop having these conversations. Then I watched a 60-minute story of this guy who makes them by hand in Switzerland, and it's like a 4-year wait, and they cost like $1 million. And I was like, it's a gorgeous watch. And I was like, you got to stop having these thoughts. ifanboy.com/Amazon. I just spit at that monitor. It's a general shopping link. Yeah, we've got watches. We all got them.
As Darwin Cook said to me, it's the only accessory most men can have.
I feel like I'm always the only person in any setting, at least here in LA, that doesn't have an Apple Watch on. That has a real watch on.
I do have an Apple Watch, but I only wear it for some things.
I get it. I go somewhere and like everyone's got an Apple Watch but me.
Yeah. No.
General shopping link on Amazon. It's a great way to help us out. Thanks everyone who did that during the holiday shopping season. But if you got to return some gifts and buy new ones, that's a great place to do it. We appreciate that. And finally, bookshop.org is our partner to help local bookstores. If you shop via the links on our website from Bookshop, a local bookstore will fulfill your order, and that will be awesome for them and for you. And we appreciate that very much. Let's move on to some more comics. And the Nova Centurion series continues. Number 2 was Pick of the Week on the very last show of last year. And we continue on here with Jed McKay.
I mean, like, I'm not saying it was going to be Pick of the Week, but I thought about it. Like, it could have been. All these books you talked about have been great. It was really, even like, I don't think I was super bullish on Absolute Superman, but pretty much everything that I read this week was worth my time at the very least. I don't know if this is a Pick of the Week issue, but it was very good, and it was a very good sort of conclusion to the little story they had going on, and also an advancement of Richard Rider as a character at the end, where he's like, you know what? I don't want to be a sad sack. And I think his suit says something. His helmet, is like, hey, who are you? And he's like, well, I'm Richard Rider. I was just a kid. And he's like, you made it through all this. You're the last one standing. You're the Nova Prime or whatever it is. And he's like, yeah. And there was an awesome space concept where they were like, hold on, let's do a hypertime meeting or whatever he calls it, and so
I was very confused at first, but when I realized what they're doing, so that's cool.
Yeah, totally
they
cool sci-fi concept.
Slowed time down by 10,000% in his head, and so they were able to have a conversation while they were frozen. Basically, it was that was interesting. The only downside, I guess, is I don't know who does what between Alvaro Lopez and Mateo De La Fonte, but one of them I like way more than the other. They're both okay. But that's a minor thing. I thought the ending was interesting. One of the people turns out to be a turncoat, but she is now infiltrated the team. And
I didn't fully understand what it was that she did in the flashback. I mean, I never realized she stole Mysterium, but I wasn't sure from who, or if it was something that they were referring to that I don't remember from an early issue.
I don't know where.
And
Yeah,
I went back
know.
through it a bunch.
Well,
It sounded like that was
maybe
his. I don't know. Or was she the one who stole the Mysterium? I don't know.
What is Mysterium?
It's the nth metal for Marvel. It's their magic metal. That I don't know when it came out, but it was associated with the X-Men for a little while. And then what's his name? Iron Man built it's like a Mysterium suit to beat somebody.
I did. So I like the artist. I guess I must like Matteo De La Fonte more. Whoever does the artist at the end, I like more. But I did like where she's like, you need to hire me because she wants to infiltrate their team. And Richard's like, we're not hiring. And the combat accountant says the spreadsheets would need a complete overhaul.
I thought of you.
I did. I knew you would. I laughed.
That was a good joke, and there was another joke right after that. I don't remember, but like I was like 2 good jokes in a row. Which
it's a good book. It is a good book. I'm glad I took a flyer on it. I like Nova quite a bit, and it's good. It's just a solid comic, and so I appreciate.
I feel like Nova's one, and Richard Rider is one of the last unexploited Marvel properties. Like he's not in a movie.
Well, there was talk for a while they were going to do him. If it was true or not, that they were when they didn't have Spider-Man, they were going to try to make Nova into their Spider-Man because he's a young guy from Long Island. And but then they got Spider-Man, so it didn't make it. You know, he still hasn't shown up. The Nova Corps has shown up, but he hasn't shown up.
Yeah, and I'm kind of okay with like, please just let this be a comic book. You know, so I can have this, and
it's all you got left. It's the only thing you got left in the Marvel universe.
It does feel, it feels a little special because it feels like it's actually a comic book,
right?
And they should also, but if they do put him in a movie, they should give him a thick South Shore Long Island accent.
What's in these drawers?
Are you saying that we have to go to space? Do we have enough time for that? Longer?
So those are the books we wanted to talk about, but as we mentioned earlier, at patreon.com/iFanboy, every patron of the show gets a vote to add a book to the rundown. They were excited to come back and vote. They were all ready to do it. There was a lot of discussion in the Discord what they'd vote for. The winner ended up being the Twilight Zone #3 from James. Well, all of it by James Stokoe. Every issue's been different, right? They've been anthologies published by IDW. So James Stokoe did the entire issue, and he does all the things in the comic. So I'm normally prepared to say more things, but that's all there is to say about the creative team.
Consider if you will. I really enjoyed the first issue of this. Really enjoyed it. It's not like I read it. It was pretty good. It was in the vein of those EC books I've been reading. So it's sort of slightly longer short stories. The second issue I was very excited about with Tom Scioli, but it was a fucking struggle to get through. It was just too many words and too much. And
has it been one story per issue?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I was wrong. I didn't read it, so I shouldn't be talking about what it is.
Well, I mean, it's the Twilight Zone. Each episode.
I thought it was for some reason I thought it was 3 stories, but that's because the EC books are. So yeah, I'm wrong.
No, one issue, one story per issue.
Okay.
I'm conflicted about this. James Stokoe is one of those special creators. When he does a thing, it's almost by necessity a special thing because there isn't a lot that comes out, and he is incredibly unique and an admirable artist. Maybe more so than storyteller. You know what I mean? Like it looks unlike anything else. You know, I haven't really been drawn in by the stories all that much. Ultimately, I would say that I don't know that this felt very much like the Twilight Zone to me.
Well, so I went on an emotional roller coaster with this book. So I wasn't going to read it, but it was Patron Pick, so I did. Obviously, the Twilight Zone is like my top 10 of all time TV shows. I've watched it all the time. You know, they always have a marathon on TV on New Year's Eve, and I always at least watch a few episodes.
I should do that. I should, because I play Seinfeld all the time. Like if I don't think I just put Seinfeld.
It's really great, and there's tons of people in it. Totally. One of Robert Redford's first roles is in Twilight Zone. And I've read the biography of Rod Serling, who I really admire, and I actually just remembered I lent it out to somebody and they've not returned it. And so I have very strong feelings about the show. I was I was about halfway in, and I was like, "This is not the Twilight Zone." What is? I mean, it's interesting, but it's not the Twilight Zone.
I mean,
but by the end of it, I was like, "Oh," but then I was like, "Okay, it kind of is."
Yes,
because to me, the Twilight Zone, and I understand, and you can all laugh. When I love something, I tend to have a very strong opinion on what it is and isn't, like Star Wars or whatever. To me, the Twilight Zone exists in the mid-century in the Rod Serling era. Like I can't watch the new ones. When they went and did them, they did them throughout the 80s and 90s, and then Jordan Peele brought it back a couple years ago. I can't watch any of those. To me, it exists with dudes in suits and skinny ties and Rod Serling smoking a cigarette and the sensibility of the post-war American media landscape infused in those stories. Like that to
Cold
me is the
War,
Twilight Zone, right? So I don't
nuclear
like
fears.
80s Twilight Zone, 90s Twilight Zone, 2025. I don't care. To me, it's a very specific time and place in the world.
It's the Rod Serling of it.
Right. And so, and that's not to say they didn't do episodes that took place outside of the 50s and 60s. They totally did. But
the context is still within that world.
The feeling of it. And this opens up and it's like medieval times, you think it is. And there's battles going on. And I was like, well, I don't know about this at all. And it turns out we're actually in the future. And it had the Twilight Zone twist. It was good, but like it didn't feel like the Twilight Zone to me.
Well, then the other question is, what's the message supposed to be? Twilight Zone has a moral.
Yep.
Or it means something. And this has a twist ending, which is that you're not where you think you are. We're not back in Game of Thrones time.
And sometimes that was what they did too. Like the famous one with the little ship that turned out to be, the ship was us and the giant woman was not us. Like that. Sometimes there's not like a moral message. It's more of like the thing. Your assumptions are wrong. That's usually what the moral is. You assume,
right.
You assume,
but
this
even
one thing,
in that instance, it says something because like that's about our feeling that we are the center of everything, and when you realize you're not right. So this was, I mean, like it was gorgeous, but also that sumptuous gorgeousness. To me, didn't feel like the Twilight Zone in that, like the first part, you're introduced to a world it's not epic. It just couldn't be. And I feel
they're
like
shooting on these tiny sound stages, and their budgets are small, and it forced you to tell an interesting story set in a small.
That's the thing.
And so now you get this sweeping epic, and again, beautifully drawn. Of this battle scene where this army's invading this other place, and this guy's like, "We're gonna take your gods and make them our thing." And it's like, I was into the story, but didn't feel the Twilight Zone. And then when the reveal is that we're actually way in the future, and the place where they're holed up is an old museum full of artifacts and
I mean, I do think
then that was interesting, but it was when it was over, I was like, there's a consumerist message, because it was like they were all worship the god of the refreshment.
I think that's the message. Like the thing that's around is maybe the thing that for whatever reason becomes the thing you worship. I mean, it's kind of like saying, like everybody worships, whatever god it was in the past because it was related to the world they were in. Well, this is the thing. So I guess there's that. I did, storytelling wise, get a little confused in the middle, and I went back and forth a lot about which side had the guns. And
that was interesting. So they break in through the museum. They break in, and the other. So that was confusing. That was actually one thing I was confused about. So
I didn't know which side was which.
You might have just said it because I was confirming a dinner order. They break in. The army overruns the one that's defending the building, and they open the door, and there's a bunch of guys there with machine guns. And that's when I went, "Oh shit! How did they overrun the machine gun guys? Like the machine gun guys should have wiped them all out." Like they.
Well, yeah, no, and it looked like the machine guns were winning, and then the main bad guy and the main offensive guy or whatever, like they got in a fight, and he picked up a gun off the ground and shot him, and then all of a sudden they'd won the battle, and I was like, when did that happen?
I was like, these guys all have machine guns,
and then
you guys all have swords.
The machine guns weren't the thing. It was a big reveal, like it was, and I feel like that was somewhat unrelated. Like basically they was in a war museum. That's what it feels like. Like their city was built around like a decrepit old war museum because they had like a display of tanks and then whatever, and like, well, but then there was a big armor. Like those two things didn't connect enough. Like there were all these artifacts from the old war, but also I guess there was a perfectly intact and working arms storage system. I don't know where they were. This could be on me. I also, I think that's another thing is that all of the language in it was very epic. This could have been its own whatever fantasy kind of story. And to me, that didn't feel like very Twilight Zone either, because it has to exist in this super tiny economized space.
Mm-hmm.
And they spent too much time. Like if this was its own comic, I would have liked it better, I think.
I agree. So that's what I mean. The roller coaster I went through was that I didn't think it was very Twilight Zone, but I did enjoy it as a story. So I don't know. It's a weird rating to do for this one, but we have to do it because that's what we do here.
Well, a lot of the early stuff, like the first third or whatever, was just dudes talking Conan shit. And I was like, whatever. Like it looks awesome, but I read dudes talking Conan shit all the time.
Sure.
They needed to get to it sooner or change the pacing. The pacing was off for Twilight Zone 2.
So what is your rating on the Twilight Zone number 3 out of 5 stars?
It's very difficult. How do you give rare and beautiful James Stokoe art a low rating? But is it successful at the thing he was trying to do?
3.5.
3.25.
Would you have read it if it hadn't been Patron Pick? I was not. You were.
No, I wasn't. I was gonna drop it.
You forgot about it?
No,
you didn't know Stokoe.
I didn't, and I may have if I
Nate Powell next.
That's interesting. Yeah, they haven't been great. Like I read every time I read one of those EC ones, man, there's something in there that's worth it that brings me back. Also, I really like the short story format. And I feel like a lot of these Twilight Zone stories, to be comparable to a half-hour TV show in the 50s, really would be more like an 8 to 10 page story in comic form. Half an hour or so a full issue to 20 pages feels too long.
Maybe it depends. I guess it depends on how much dialogue. Yeah. Sorry. And finally, are you sticking with it? So you're reading 4? Or are you dropping it?
May or may not. I think it depends on the week. I think that if I do read one more, I think it's going to really have to impress me. But that doesn't say anything about what it's going to be like next week.
It's hard, but, you never know.
The anthology format tends to work a little better for it. If you don't like one story, you go to the next one. And
Patreon.com/iFanboy. Thanks for being a patron and thanks for voting. We appreciate that. But if you're a patron at the $5 or higher level, you're special because you get a superpower live on the show, whether or not the host remembers that's their job to do so that week. This week's patron is a pastor. Be careful.
Pastor Will Rose. This is not planned to go with the name Pastor Will Rose. If he sings, the people around him are compelled to dance and dance without reserve.
Without fear, without embarrassment.
No, they will dance the dance that is in their soul, that is completely unaffected. The way that dancing is supposed to be.
I love that.
They will dance that way. And it's if he sings. He has that.
We need that more in this world.
They will dance. Yes. I need that in myself, and it does not exist.
Let me ask you a question. What the hell is a pastor?
I'm not
an expert.
I'm not terribly up to date on the different versions of Christianity after we get out of Catholic and Protestant. Anything under that.
Like the pastor always could have like a family. Like they were always in the Old West, right? Yeah. They were always a pastor, but they had like a wife.
Yeah. But I don't know the specific versions that make that.
I remember going in college to visit a hometown, like the hometown of one of my friends, and they lived next door to their pastor, but the pastor had a family, and I was very confused because
I think you can do that. I don't know, like the word priest makes me like, but the word pastor makes me think, maybe you can do it, I don't know. I'm gonna assume that if this person has listened to us and supported us for a very long time,
hopefully that's not that offensive.
He's an open-minded fella who recognizes what's good in the world. In a
I'm just genuinely curious. I'm not judgmenting. That's not really what it is. I just don't know.
Yeah.
So
there's a reverend, there's a pastor. What's a parson?
Thanks for being a page. I think honestly that is one of my favorite powers you've given. I think that's a wonderful power. I think we need it in this world, and I think it's joyful.
Yeah,
I think it's legitimately joyful, and we don't have that a lot.
I'm only completely unreserved like that if I am playing guitar with a group of musicians. That's the only time that I have no.
It's all music related.
Totally is. What's funny is that I'm a drum student, and part of it is that we'll play like shows with my little drum. And when we did it, there's lots of other groups, and some of them are adults and some of them are kids, and I'm playing the drums. And afterwards, my wife is like, you are the only one acting like animal up there. And all the other people like, I'm like, if you're drumming, you put on a show, have fun. Like
how often do you get the drum like that?
The kick drum is going across the stage.
Do you like it compared to guitar?
I like it. I like being able to do it a little bit. It is very unnatural to me. And I kind of don't want to be like, I don't want to be a drummer. I want to know how to drum, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Guitar is very natural to me. I like it. It does a thing. That's like a whole other set of muscles. It's really hard for me.
Patreon.com/iFanboy. Thanks for the patron, Pastor. We appreciate that. Now we can do one email, I think.
Hey, good news, everyone. We're still long-winded.
Which one do you want to do? The first one?
Yeah, we should probably
the Avengers one.
Yeah, go for it.
Gavin T from Long Beach, California writes in and says, in the past, you've talked about loving the Avengers lineup of the 80s and 90s with B and C characters being part of the team. Thinking of West Coast Avengers #1, whose faces would you put on a cover of a, quote, building the team issue of Avengers today? So not exclusively who would be on the team, who would ultimately be on the team, but which characters would you be excited to see on the cover? I've been thinking about this question since late September 2025, approximately 12.5 hours in total. However, please add to that another 4 to 15 hours a year since 1984, when the West Coast Avengers Limited Series was released. P.S. Do you know on the cover of West Coast Avengers #1 who the character between Hawkeye's bow and right hip is? That's small. Let's make that bigger. So I've got the cover here. Let's do that.
All right, his bow and his right hip.
Yeah, that's Shauna the She-Devil. Yeah.
Wow, you didn't even have to. Did you look that up, or you just?
I looked it up.
Okay.
That seems to be the consensus. That it's Shauna the She-Devil.
So we've got. Let's just see. Let's see if I can do it.
Okay.
All right, you've got Iron Man, Red Wolf, Puck, Shanna the She-Devil. I wouldn't have gotten that.
Yeah.
Shroud, not Cloak. He's in this issue. Namor, Hercules. Over there, you got Quicksilver.
You're missing one next to Namor. Do Namor and Hercules.
Oh yeah, no, look at that. Ant-Man's back there. I didn't even see him. Tigra, Wonder Man, the Wasp.
Nope.
It's Black not Widow. Wasp. Oh,
she had short hair back then.
Yeah, okay. She made a good change. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Cyclops, Mockingbird, and Doc Samson.
You got him.
Yeah.
And who ended up on the team?
I know Tigra.
Yep. By the way, I read this issue today. I read
Tigra, Wonder Man, Iron Man, and Mockingbird, and Shroud.
Tigra, Wonder Man.
Actually, Shroud wasn't on the team. He was like the guy who showed up at the.
He joins at the end.
Right.
They had a slot for one more because at the time I read this today and I loved it. Captain America had a rule you could only have 6 members on the team. And so it was Hawkeye, Mockingbird, Iron Man, it's James Rhodes, Tigra, Wonder Man, and then they add Shroud at the very end. And also an appearance by Jessica Drew when she wasn't Spider-Woman, she was a PI in San Francisco. She and Tigra worked together.
Excellent.
It was a great issue. I wanted to keep reading the miniseries.
Didn't we do the we do a book split about that?
I think we did.
Okay.
Pretty sure we did. So that's what that is. Okay, so if we're basing off of this cover, whose faces would we want to see today for a Avengers #1 comic that would be on a Who's Joined the Team cover? Whose faces? And again, not necessarily characters who would be on the team, but who would possibly be on the team. Who would make?
So you've got a lineup of like 12, 13 people.
Right. And I must say that when I was a kid, there was nothing more exciting than these comics and these covers. It was like who's going to be on the team was the most exciting thing for a 12-year-old to pick up from the comic store. At least for me. I want to put Nova on there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put. It's hard for me to just not put all the Avengers from the 80s, but
yeah,
I'd like to put Beast on there because I keep wanting Beast to come back to the team, and it would be exciting for me to see Beast's face.
I'm telling you who I'm not putting on there, just because I'm not putting Black Panther, Captain America, or Iron Man. I don't want anything to do with those in the Avengers for now.
Oh, interesting.
I need time away from it. So I'm going to put Hawkeye, but he's not going to be the main guy. He's going to be one of the little side heads. Your main
So who's forming the team? Who's forming the team if not Cap?
I know that it's current. I actually really like I like Captain Marvel as that person. Although
I'd like to point out that we could do an hour on this question without a problem.
Oh, it's a pro. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
In this comic, the Vision is the current chairman of the Avengers.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, in this one.
In the West Coast Avengers
right.
comic, yeah. I'm putting the Vision on there too.
Sure.
I need some non-Avengers to mix it up. I'm gonna put Spider-Man.
I'm not putting Spider-Man. I'm not putting Spider-Man.
No, I'm putting the head on there, but he's not gonna be on the team.
So he's gonna be definitely like the big red herring.
He's a red herring. Maybe Miss Marvel. She's an X-Men, and she's never has she ever been in the Avengers?
Yeah, I think so. I think her whole thing is that she is an Avenger, and she's like
I still think she'd be a fun face on there.
No, that's a good answer.
Moon Knight. That's a wild card.
I'm gonna throw Rocket Raccoon on there.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's interesting.
They took Triathlon, and they made him into a villain at some point. I think. Yeah. And that
from the very
that shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have been that.
So you're gonna rehabilitate Triathlon.
Yeah.
At least putting him on the cover.
And Triathlon's gonna be the one that, in 40 years that comes like, well, who's that guy? And you're like, oh, that's Triathlon.
Someone's going to write an Eisner-winning miniseries, Rehabilitating Triathlon.
Tell you what, hold on, I got to call Tom.
I'm gonna put Red Hulk on this cover.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Red Hulk.
It's not Green Hulk. It's Red Hulk.
Sure.
Not on the team, but on the cover.
Not Amadeus Cho.
No, I keep forgetting he exists.
Patriot.
Interesting. Patriot. So you're gonna level up a couple of the Young Avengers.
Maybe stick them in there.
Is there anybody that's currently on this cover you'd also have on your cover?
You know what's interesting is that a lot of these characters do not have much of a place in the modern Marvel world.
They don't, which tells you a lot about the modern Marvel world.
Yeah, like there's nothing like the name, whatever the Namor is now, he's not on this.
He's not that Namor.
No, and so he definitely doesn't fit.
Natasha does. Scott Summers does, obviously. Tiger is currently in the Moon Knight book, but
Black Cat.
Oh, that's interesting. That'd be a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a good one. When's the last time you saw Hercules?
I was thinking about that, which led me to the question of are there gods? Like, could you get like Fandral or something like that? But I was like, nah, he's not right for it. He's a Thor supporting character. Sif. I would go so far as to say she doesn't really have a personality on her own. Yeah. Nah.
When's the last time you saw Mockingbird?
As a she's great. She needs to be in him. You know what? I'm putting Mockingbird's gonna be on there.
I was thinking about this after I read it. Like
she could be the leader.
This was 1984. And wasn't she the leader of the Kelly Thompson West Coast Avengers book? Or wasn't she in it?
I don't remember.
Who was on that team?
Kate Bishop. Oh,
Kate Bishop was on the team.
Oh, the one before it?
The one where they were in Venice.
They were like the Young Avengers mostly, weren't they?
But there was some main character.
Oh, it was the Vision daughter, I think. Ooh,
maybe it was Kate Bishop, Clint Barton, America Chavez, Kid Omega. Yeah, it was all young people other than Clint.
What about it's gone. Whatever it was. God,
this was such a fun era for Marvel.
Yeah,
so fun.
Because you do revert to being like, all right, well, we'll talk about all this D-Man on there or whatever. But this is not the world we live in anymore. So I'd like a nice mix of those things. I like Puck on there, but not Puck. Like, is there another like an Alpha Flight guy or something?
Well, who's the main Alpha Flight guy? Guardian.
Red Leaf guy.
Yeah, Guardian. Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never read an Alpha Flight book in my life. That's not true, but one's never stuck with me.
Alpha, you know what? Flight, Guardian.
Let's just throw Robin in there.
Yeah, it's Guardian. Yeah, Batman. Kevin Feige. God, I wish they would do these comics again.
Taskmaster. I'd put him on the cover. Because, what's going on there?
So the last time they made it like a big deal about who was on the team was Well, I guess they did it for that wasn't Marvel, but when Kelly Thompson did Birds of Prey, they did that like whole thing where they reveal the character every day. But they do that through the marketing now and not through the comic. You know, back when we were doing the website, remember they had all those Secret Avengers teams where they would release one character a day, and it would give us tons of content. But like, they don't do it in the book anymore. Now they do it through the media, which is weird. Like, do it through the book. I don't know. I mean,
it doesn't. I mean, what sells the books ain't this? I don't know what sells the books.
I don't know. Who knows? I think this was a great. We were talking about this question earlier. I don't know. We've never had this question before. Maybe it's a good question.
Yeah,
it's a good question.
It's a good time.
Man, those are good comics. All right, let's wrap this up since we are now nearing the end of our time with you. Thanks for.
Wait, are we done?
Sorry. Thanks, Kevin, for writing in. He wrote into contact at iFanboy.com to get on the show. We appreciate you. We had lots of people writing over the break, so we got a bunch of questions, but we can always use more. So if you want to get in the show and cause us to wax nostalgic for 10 minutes about the old Avengers comics, please do. Contact at iFanboy.com and put Media Explode in the subject line if you're writing in for our Media Explode show. So this month of January, we still got a bunch of shows, even though we were off the first week. In addition to our regular Pick of the Week show, we're going to have our Media Explode show. We're going to talk about what we watched over the break. Plus, we're going to talk about Rob Reiner's films. And we're going to have a book explode. We're gonna cover that Avengers annual that we joked about covering somewhere. It might have been on the after show, but we're gonna do an actual single issue of an 80s Avengers comic for the book explode. And also, we were talking, and we're probably gonna do book explodes throughout the year as opposed to talk explodes, just because that's just what we want to do. So we're gonna have a lot more book explodes this year than you would normally get. So you can look out for that and we'll try to make sure you know far enough ahead of time what we're going to talk about so you have time to read it. But that's just where we're headed, where our minds are at. So in the meantime, you can head over to iFanboy.com. You can find our library of over 1,500 shows. I think it's like 1,504 over at iFanboy.com, wherever podcasts are sold. Never miss a show. Find out what the pick of the week is before the show comes up by following us at iFanboy Comics on Instagram and Threads, at iFanboy.com, Blue Sky. And individually, we are CSK Patrick on Instagram and Jay Flanagan on Instagram. And Dumb is former iFanboy writer Jeff Reeves video deep dives into comic book history every Tuesday and Friday across our social channels and on YouTube.
You fools out there need to consider writing us reviews. You need to think about it at least. I'm not saying you have to do it, but you should think about it. Please consider it. You could leave a star rating on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever it is you get your podcasts. If that is an option for you to do, that would be super helpful. You can subscribe to youtube.com/iFanboy, where you may be watching my face right now. But also, if you want to just listen to it there and let it play and you don't look, I'm not offended. I can't even look at my face right now. You will find the video version of this show. Like I said, you will find all of our special edition shows. You will get Jeff Reed's videos where he checks. You told him about that. So they're there too, is what I'm saying. And the archive of all of our old video stuff from 2007 to 2012, which didn't used to sound so long ago. Finally, join us on the iFanboy After Show exclusively on Patreon, where we will share the thoughts on all the books that we read this week that didn't make the rundown. It's not a lot this week.
Not this week.
It's patreon.com/iFanboy for everyone at the $10 a month or higher tier. And there we did. We did it.
First of all, excited to be back. Happy to be talking comics with you. Happy to be talking with the people, but this was fun. I missed it. Second, you just mentioned the video. Like, I like that we have both formats, so you can choose. Like, if you want to watch, you want to see the graphics, you want to see the covers, you want to see that Avengers cover, you can. If you want to just listen, like I was stupidly before the show putting together some furniture. I thought, you know what? Let's get sweaty and tired right before the show. And so I was putting together this table that for the living room that we could buy, and I had podcasts playing, and it's great. You can just have a podcast playing while you're doing other things, and like my fingers are raw from turning the screws and you
have your own tools, right? You're not using the box tool.
No. I was using my screwdriver, but there was one thing I had to do manually that it was a pain in the ass. But it was the feet for the cabinet. You could only do it manually, and there was like 6 of them, and one wouldn't turn. Anywho, that's what I was doing right before the show. I was like, this is a stupid idea. But I did it anyway, because that's who I am. Thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you. We're happy to be back. We missed you. And until next week, I'm Connor.
I'm Josh. Thank you. This is good.